guys, welcome back to Channel Positive Cleaning. This is week number 26 of our 100K journey of 2024. Now, if you guys can believe it, this is actually our halfway point of the year. And man, we have been so busy with work and yeah, it's just, I can't believe it's already halfway done, and soon they will be the end of the year, but I don't want to think that far because then we're not going to have a lot of work, but that's a discussion for another time. But what really helped a lot with our week was this week's sponsor is Project to Payment, and Project to Payment is an awesome business management tool that we've been using, and I'm going to tell you right now that this week we actually had an awesome opportunity. We actually had one client of ours. He's kind of like a third party, I don't know, but he's a third party that essentially he pays for the clients to have their windows cleaned. So essentially from there we were able to have a down payment when it came to having the job be have like a partial down payment, and Project Payment just made it so much easier that once they paid us, they used a credit card, they were able to put a percentage down, and then when we did their job this past Monday, I guess, we were able to then from there be able to receive the rest of the payment, and it was just so smooth. I didn't have to crunch in some numbers or whatever, but it was just so much nice just to have everything just done so smoothly. But anyways, Project Payment helped us out a lot with that, and also too, what I really like is that after every job is done, it sends them an email, and then from there at the bottom asks to leave a review for us, and that has been very helpful for us when it comes to getting reviews from clients. And yeah, it just been so smooth, especially like I said, because it's so busy right now, especially this week. We had a couple mentions, as you guys remember from last week's video. We kind of mentioned that how today would be this video. I mean, it's already dark kind of, so I have even my lights on my truck. That's how late it is, especially today's job. But yeah, so anyways, thank you guys, or thank you Project to Payment so much for sponsoring this video. And yeah, let's just get straight into this week's this week. Now this week, our first job, we like I said, we had a deposit from this client from last week, and then Monday we did the job. Yeah, that job was a lot of French windows, and yeah, my wife and I were very tired afterwards, and they had a lot of windows that they had kind of like a clay tile-ish roof on top. Hopefully I have videos to show you guys, but if not, they have these roof tiles that pretty much if you step on it, it kind of breaks. So I had to put my ladder, kind of had to reach over, kind of just had to do my best to squeegee do my best to just use the water fed. I have a video about that, how dirty one of the windows were. But yeah, it was just a very nice job, very chill. And what I liked about it the most was that once we were done, the client was very happy with the windows, and ultimately I'm sure we'll probably be able to do their windows possibly next year, or sometime in the near future. But yeah, very chill clients, and really like them a lot. And yeah, it's just nice to have clients that lets us do our work. They do their own thing in a sense. He had, I think, some phone calls and all that he had to take care of, business stuff that he had to take care of. So it was nice that we can be able to provide that service while he can be able to work from home. So that was pretty cool. So then Tuesday, that was Monday. So Tuesday we were actually supposed to do another huge house, but ended up being for today, which is Friday. So we ended up, because they were putting furniture into the house and everything like that, and they just had a lot going on, and they couldn't have their windows cleaned on Tuesday. So they ended up moving Tuesday to today. And so my Friday appointment, I asked, hey, can I put you to Tuesday? They were very happy to be able to have their windows cleaned sooner. But yeah, it's another returning client for Tuesday. We did his windows last year or the year before, a year and a half ago, and also too, he wanted his solar panels clean, so we're able to provide that. Now I'm gonna kind of give an update when it comes to solar panel cleaning. I love the big scrubber when it comes to cleaning glass railings and all those pretty much just a wall of a window. Be able to use the big contact scrubber. So when I went to do his solar panels, I was using it, and I don't know, I just kind of felt it did the job, but I just felt like it wasn't as good as using the Boar's hairbrush. So, I kind of want to find a way that it's like, you know what I mean? Like try to find the best brush or best pad, if that makes sense. And I was using the Hedgehog pad too when it came to the big scrubber. And yeah, I was going at it and I was like looking at it, and it left like a couple of things behind, and I was kind of like, this is not really like the way I want it to be done. Like when you clean a solar panel, I like to just do everything and then from there rinse off and just be done with it. But this one, I did everything, rinsed off, still had some stuff on it. So I actually ended up having to get off the roof, get my Boar's hairbrush, come back, and then just kind of do it in the Boar's hairbrush with the over top rinse bar. Cleaned everything up, and we really liked it a lot, or I liked the results a lot. It just made things so much easier. But I thought that, like using the big contact scrubber would just take care of it. But I guess, the Boar's hairbrush was kind of like the go-to at that point, because actually today's job, Friday, we used the Boar's hairbrush, and or I used the Boar's hairbrush, and it worked phenomenal. But we'll talk about today's job later. But yeah, I just want to ask you guys, what do you guys think? Do you guys, when it comes to solar panel cleaning, do you guys use the Boar's hairbrush? Do you use the big contact scrubber? I know it's it's up to debate. Other people use different forms to clean solar panels, but I just want to kind of know what you guys use, because I'm always open to ideas. But in this case, I really tried to try something different with the big contact scrubber. Didn't do as well as I thought it would, so I went back to Boar's hairbrush, and that kind of helped out a lot. But anyways, we did their job. Super simple cookie cutter. We were able to take care of them, and they love the results. And then yeah, that was kind of it for that. Now, yeah, Wednesday, I had to look here because we were full of work this week. Wednesday's job, it's a returning client of last year. Now, that job, I'm probably going to maybe try to put something here. But we did their job last year, and we made a YouTube video about it. It was like French window cleaning. I don't know. I forgot the name of it, but essentially I'll try to put it up here so you guys can watch that. But it pretty much shows you how to clean French windows. It really is like a very easy when you have a water fed, and most importantly, it just makes life so much easier when it comes to actually having to clean French windows, especially on the second story. It's kind of a little bit of a pain. Yeah, okay, a pain, yeah. But anyways, but yeah, it was just nice to be able to take care of that, and they love the results and very happy, and they'll call us back next year. Yeah, it's just a bummer for them because they actually got COVID last week. My wife and I, it's just her and I, and we just were like, hey, if you want to reschedule, let's reschedule. But if we, or my wife and I, get sick, we can't really work, and then from there it's going to be hard for us to pay our bills and everything like that. So that's why we were kind of like, hey, let's just wait until you have a negative COVID test. We can come clean your house, not a problem. And they were totally understandable about that. So then we were able to go this Wednesday. They were negative on Tuesday, so we were able to clean their windows, love the results, and yeah, that was kind of it. Now then Thursday, we also had another job, but that one was outside only, and I've done their windows already. I think this is their third time, if I'm not mistaken. And they're an older couple, and they're just so nice. And it's always nice to talk with them all the time, and kind of just pick each other's brains. They always want to know, like, how we got into the business, how's business doing, and all that stuff. So but yeah, it's been very nice to be able to talk with them. And what I really like about, like, I guess all my clients this week, that they're just kind of like, just get the job done, you're good to go. We don't really need to like double check your work. And so it's kind of nice because people kind of trust us in that sense. So obviously we want to make sure that we do our best to do everything right the first time. And that's another thing, if I can make a suggestion for you guys, like, just make sure that when you guys do things when it comes to window cleaning, just do like the best, like, if that makes sense, like the first time around, because then it becomes second nature and just habit, in the sense that, like, sometimes I'm just cleaning windows and I just start like zoning out sometimes. But I know that the techniques and everything, like the tradition, like how do I clean windows and everything, just makes life so much easier. I don't have to worry about, oh, did I do this wrong or did I do this right? It just becomes so much easier to just do everything. So did all the windows, and when we came inside, we just want to make sure like how everything was. And then well, I guess Ashley wasn't with me for this job because it was just outside only, but he did the job. And then like we kind of looked around the house, everything looked good. And so yeah, it was very simple. And yeah, they want us to come back for sure next year, and you know, they're very nice, and so I'm looking forward to doing their windows again next year. And then today's job, wow. Today's job, we arrived early and we were pretty much there the whole time. Pretty much our whole house is made out of glass, so we did our best to, you know, take care of all the windows. And yeah, there had some people like doing some construction stuff around the house. It wasn't a construction clean by any means, but they were just doing some stuff around the house, and we just had to work around them. And you know, they just bought the house, I should say, and so they, you know, want everything ready before the homeowners move into the house. And so but yeah, it was just so nice to be able to just, you know, go there. I already knew the house already. We did their house last year, and yeah, it was just very, like, how do I say it, it was just nice to be able to know this house, because like in order to get to like certain parts of the house, I had to go out through a window, which like the roof was literally flat, so it was kind of just like a regular, you know, story house. I don't know, you know, you guys kind of know what I mean. But it wasn't like I had to get on the roof and be like in a weird angle. It was just like I got outside on the roof, but everything was flat, so it was like I really wasn't on a roof, if that makes sense. But anyways, it was at least nice for me to know, like, okay, I know how to get out this window. I know that these windows here I can go through. Everything looks good. So it ended up working out very, very nice. And yeah, we did the whole house. My wife and I, she did the inside. They also had solar panels done too. And yeah, it was a lot of work. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, doing solar panels and windows during the summertime really drains me out a lot. I love the work, I'm not complaining by any means, but yeah, it takes a lot out of me. And like even my wife sometimes is like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I just need to get some more water. I take, you know, coffee with me too, like in the morning, so that, you know, throughout the day I have a little bit of extra energy. I personally don't like drink any energy drinks. I just, you know, it's just, I'd rather just have a coffee. I know other people drink energy drinks, you know, it's up to them. It's, you know, whatever they want to do with themselves. But with me, it's just so easy just to have a coffee in the car, have that. But yeah, it was just, yeah, really, really tough day today. But you know, what's most important is that the homeowner's happy, so that when they move in, everything looks good, and we'll just be very happy to, you know, have them be happy. I'm happy that they are happy. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to get at. But anyways, but yeah, that's kind of this week's video. It was kind of like, we were kind of a little bit all over the place, but we're happy. We're able to, you know, be able to have all this jobs, very fortunate. And next week we kind of have quite a few jobs lined up. Even in between all these jobs that we did, we kind of did a couple of bids. And oh, actually, this is an awesome tip for you guys. I strongly believe to give bids like in person, just because, you know, sometimes, you know, like if you try to look like the address online or whatever, it might not show all the house, if that makes sense. Because this I'll give you one example of a bid that I gave this week. I'm gonna just give you the straight honest truth that they tried to like rip me off, if that even makes sense. Yeah, like obviously this time of year, it's very busy with work, and it's just my wife and I. We don't have a crew. We don't, you know, have someone just giving like bids and another crew doing work. It's literally just like my wife and I. So while we're working, we have to wait until after we're done with work to go give a bid. Kind of get my drift. So this week we were working. I forgot what day it was. I think it was like Tuesday. Yeah, we were working at our returning client's house with the solar panels with the big scrub pad. And we told them, hey, we can give you a bid afterwards. And they were like, okay, great. And then they messaged me like throughout that day on Tuesday, and they were like, hey, so if you want, because I told them my minimum, and they were like, well, if you want to make things easier, your minimum's fine to do inside and out. And I'm like, my minimum is like gonna be for my inside and out. And I was kind of like, well, I couldn't see their house on Zillow. There was no like the pictures of the house or anything like that. And I was just like, now they're, and I'm telling you this not to like criticize them or anything. I'm just trying to like, you know, kind of brainstorm with you. Like when I say these experiences, okay? Like for me, I'm thinking like, okay, so now they're telling me that my minimum is this and that. I don't know how the windows look like. I don't know if it's French windows. I don't know if it's single pane. I don't know what the house looks like, right? So I ended up telling them like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna still be able to come this afternoon. And they were kind of a little bit of far away, but which is not a problem. So I ended up showing up at their house, knocking on the door, and they said that if they weren't home, you know, I can walk around the house on the outside, right? Now, why am I saying like the outside like that? Well, when I showed up, the husband answered the door, and I was like, okay, so I'm here. My name's Andy from Paws Window Cleaning, and you know, you wanted to have a bid done. I just want to see the house to make sure that, you know, I can give you a proper bid. And he's like, oh, let's just walk inside. I'm like, no, but we can walk on the outside. You know, it's fine. Like that's how I do it. You know, you can do whatever you want. Of course, if they have like kind of like a loft in the inside, you know, you kind of want to see those windows 100% because, you know, you need to know if you need a ladder on the inside. But that's another discussion for another time. But I was just like, no, we can walk on the outside. It's not a problem. He's like, no, let's just do it from the inside. I'm like, okay. Actually, it wasn't with me. It was just me. So I go inside the house, and the guy was showing me like, or the husband, he was showing me the windows. Pretty much they were all French windows, and I was kind of just like, okay. And it was just like a small little living room. And so while we're walking inside the house, all one story, by the way, we get to like his office and all the curtains are down, right? And I was just like, oh, okay, I need to see what those windows look like so I can know. He's like, no, it's okay. It's just a window there, this and that. I'm like, no, I need to see those windows because I don't know if it's a single panel, a single pane, or is it like French windows? And he's like, oh, fine, I'm gonna do that. And I was like, oh, wow, okay. Like literally, I even caught me off guard. And he went like rolled it up, and I was just like, oh, it's all French windows. And he's like, what does that mean? I'm like, well, because here, this French windows, you have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you have 12 windows here, but in reality, I was trying to see if there was like, is there one panel on the top, one panel on the bottom? So that's 2, but here you have 12. He's like, oh, okay. And he kind of got upset with me, but I thought, because I mean, I have experience on this, but I'm trying to like help you guys out too. I already know, oh, I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to blindside me by having like an inaccurate bid, if that makes sense. So I was just looking at it. I was just like, oh, okay. And then like from there, he's like, okay, this room here, you don't have to do the inside because, you know, we sleep here and we live here. We're actually selling the house and everything like that. So you don't have to do the inside here, which is fine, right? We're like, oh, okay. So we saw the rest of the house. Pretty much the whole house was French windows, except for like maybe like a couple windows in the front that were just like a single pane. But pretty much the whole house was like French windows. And I was like, oh, I didn't like that. For me, I don't like, I mean, it has to be some type of trust / honesty on both ends. You know, we want to make sure we give the right bid, but at the same time, if you're giving me false information, it's not really a good relationship you want to have. But anyways, so, and it's funny because we were talking and he's like, oh, oh, there, and we were in the kitchen. I was like, oh, there's some hard water on your windows. And he's like, oh, just put vinegar and you'll be good. You know, I've done the windows in the past. And I was like, oh, well, actually I use a water fed system, so I don't actually use any solutions. I just put water. He's like, oh, just put vinegar in your machine. Like, you see what I'm trying to say? Like, it was just like one thing after another. I was like, I don't even want to do this job, because he wanted the job done like the next day or the day after, because that's when he wanted it. Again, busy season, he wanted it done. Again, I'm just like, you know what? I understand that sometimes, you know, you get busy in life and you need to schedule things kind of last minute. It happens to me all the time. But at the same time, like when he said like, oh, you need to have this job done, I was just kind of like, oh, okay. But I said, well, with my machine, you know, I can't put vinegar in my machine because it's just pure water. And he's like, oh, but pure water, like, that's it? I was like, yeah, I clean your frame, I clean your window. You know, obviously you guys know I have a water fed system. You know, I just wanted to show you that. He's like, okay, but yeah, just put vinegar. And I'm like, no, I cannot put vinegar because it just purifies the water. Whatever. I was just trying to talk with the person, but he seemed very aggressive this whole time. And it's sometimes, you know, it's just hard to, you know, because he eventually told me he had soft water in the house, and I was like, oh, okay. So I was trying to find a common ground. I was like, okay, well, the TDS is, you know, for soft water is between 50 and 200. It can be even pushed to maybe 250, but 200 is kind of like the sweet spot. And he's just like, oh, well, I don't know, but I just don't have soft water. I was like, okay, well, my machine goes from hard water to soft to pure water, does all that. And he's like, okay, well, what's the price? And I was like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just didn't get a good vibe from him. So I kind of was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna, and then this is another idea for you. Like, if you don't want to give a bid, or you want to kind of, how do I say, you just want to, like, you know, you want to get away from a bad customer potentially, you can always just charge the moon, if that makes sense, so that, you know, they say no, and so it's easier just to walk away. But in this case, I was kind of like, you know what, I just threw out a random number, like more obviously on the pricier end. I'm not going to work for someone, especially like that, for the cheap end. So I kind of just threw a random number. Kind of knew that he wasn't going to get the job. But it's just better sometimes just to not get the job. I know that sometimes a couple of you guys are starting with a window cleaner. Again, you can do whatever you want as a business, but just be prepared to, you know, make sure that you're confident in your work and your pricing and everything. Don't let someone try to come in and just, you know, kind of bully you in a sense. But yeah, so anyways, we got past that. He never ended up calling me this week, so I was kind of glad on that end. Yeah, just, you know, sometimes people try, because if I would have just walked on the outside, I would have known his whole house was French windows. And I knew that he tried to, like, you know, try to be like smart about it, kind of cover all his windows so I don't see his French windows, so I give him a cheap price. I'm not that type of person, you know? So anyways, so just, you know, make sure that when you're, you know, having your business, giving a bid, you're in control in a sense. Don't let others tell you what the price is, or tell you like how to give a bid, if that makes sense. Because yeah, she was so nice. Oh yeah, just do inside and out for your minimum. That's good enough. And I'm like, yeah. So anyways, so I'm glad I didn't get that job. But again, I know that some people, they want to get the cheapest person, but just get the cheapest person then. Well, that's another thing. So but anyways, but this week there's a sale going on, 15% off squeegees on the WCR website. We're very happy, I should say, that you guys have been purchasing things through our links, and we just are very grateful for that. And so I just want to say thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts, because it helps support the channel, and you know, helps us to, you know, provide this content for you guys. So yeah, if you ever want to purchase anything, my phone number is 626-545-3132. And yeah, if you want to place anything with me, small or big, doesn't matter, just let me know and I can help you out with that. And yeah, I guess that's kind of it. I didn't forget this time. So how much did we make this week? So this week in total we made $4,000. So it was a brutal week. We were in the sun pretty much the whole time. I had to do a couple of solar panels. I was beat with the heat, but what's most important is that we're able to have work this week, which we're very fortunate about. But yeah, it's just next week I think it's gonna be a little bit more chill. There's yeah, we were gonna try to take it a little chill next week. We do have quite a few jobs, but it's not as big as this week. But anyways, if you guys made it this far, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you guys so much for commenting on our videos. We really appreciate it a lot. We read your messages, and hopefully we're able to, you know, help you guys out or respond to all your comments as soon as possible. Sometimes you guys comment, I'm working, so don't take it personal if I don't respond right away. We'll see you guys in the next one. All right, bye.